the same old disk. I'm going to load a program in that was written by the great Jim Butterfield, except whoa, I have to do it from device 9, not 8. Let's just list this for a moment. Oops. Yes, copy all, Jim Butterfield. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Okay, so now we must be careful. We do not want to mess up the disks. I'm going to put both this in, but I'm not going to do anything yet. This disk, if you notice, is write protected, so I really can't hurt it. But I don't want to do it. Okay, so I'm going to put in run. And I'm going to be copying from unit 8, drive 0. If you had a dual drive, this number might sometimes be a 1, but with single drives, that's always a 0. So we're going to copy from 80 to 90. Do you want to new the output disk? I will say yes. Disk name and ID. This is what I said before, but you have to, this will do the command, but I'm going to call this okay. I accidentally doofed that. Okay. No. Okay, hang on. I screwed that up. Run. 8090. Yes. So it's set up, it seems, that if you accidentally put in nothing, it carries on. I'm going to call this disk Jim Butterfield. Something doesn't look right about it. Anyway, with an ID of JB, and then I'm going to hit there, and it will go away and format it. Now this disk was already formatted before when we ran the test, but never a bad thing. One thing I am noticing, and this may be part of the damage, that the LEDs on this drive look rather dim. Maybe they are somehow shifted or irked in the damage. I'm not sure. These, it's funny, I was just looking at this and I was thinking something is not right here. These drives have a different front. This is recessed and the handle is like thicker, and this is not recessed and the handle is thinner. I guess at some point maybe they had trouble with handles breaking and they said, maybe if we make them thicker, we'll just notch out that thing a little bit. Okay, so it is finished. And it is now looking, and I will say I want that. And then I will hold down I'm just going to keep pressing. Why? Now, for discs that might have some sort of protection, are we done? We are done. Some kind of protection. This really is not the program to use, and this is not fast, but it is well, efficiency is a funny thing. Does it take 21 seconds to copy a disk? No, it doesn't. Does it copy all the copy protection? No, it doesn't. Does it copy everything and then have it work on the other end? Yeah, pretty much it does. So, you know, it takes as long as it takes. The 1541s were not fast. They just weren't. So it does its thing. And certainly, I don't remember how big this is. I think other versions of this, maybe later versions, actually counted blocks off and did other things. But this one does not. But it does show you. Maybe you can see that. Maybe you can't. Maybe I can. Can I set these side by side. Yes, I can. So anyway, it is now copying How To Part 2. And if you notice, these lights indeed are dim. But the drive seems to be fine. This one also looks a little bit more yellowed. But works just fine. Okay, now it's copying the VIC-20 wedge. Those were... I really never got into using those. They took a little bit of memory, and they did make it that you could put in, I think it was a greater than sign and then certain things, and they were handy. Because once again, if you were writing a program on the 64 and you said, hey, let me load the directory, and you hadn't saved the program, well, the program was gone. And I think one of the wedge commands was the greater than and then dollar sign, which would look at the directory. As I said, I really didn't get into that. I liked using the machine in its standard stock form to ensure that whatever I was running was not going to be interfered with by something else. And these were not big programs. Okay. Oh, it's copying copy all. And yes, Jim Butterfield was and always will be a great fellow. He was. So I'm not hearing any errors. Usually if you see anything going not right, you'll see lights flickering and flashing, and you might hear the drive kind of bang its head and reset and do other such things. These two drives, despite their difficult travels, do appear to be functioning just fine. And their power supplies seem to be working, and their cables also seem to be working. There is a disk drive. No, sorry, the joystick in a bag. I have not tested this. At some point I will. Here is a manual. It's a little beaten and a little worn for the Commodore 1541-2, which is essentially the same as the 1541, shorter, a much more compact circuit board with an external power supply. Commodore, yeah. 3470 Pharmacy Avenue, Agincourt, Ontario. I visited there, but not often. And I was helping on a TV show. We needed some sort of driving game, and I remember I was taken in and helped by one fellow, David Berezowski. And he gave me a pre-release version of the game Le Mans. And we used it on a TV show called Hangin' In. A story about a youth group, community center. And I became one of the College Street hackers. Mostly I did behind the scenes stuff, but I was also seen on the show. I have to look that up. That was a long time ago. 40 years, pretty much. Alright, so it continues to copy. It does. As I said, it is not the fastest thing. But let us summarize what we have done. First of all, we tested both disk drives with a performance test. Well, first we plugged them into their power supplies, found serial cables to hook them up to the computer, and did run the performance test. It all worked fine. Then I flipped the dip switch on the one drive to make it device 9. And indeed, device 8, both dip switches are in the up position, and when you take the one on the left and move it down, it goes to device 9. I'm assuming, but I don't remember, that if you move them both down, well, it's 10 or 11, one way or another, whether they're both down or one up and one down or the other up. Anyway, after doing that, then we loaded in a program called Copy All by Jim Butterfield. And we told that we wanted to copy everything from device 8, drive 0, to device 9, drive 0. And we did format the disk, or new the disk. We called it Jim Butterfield with an ID of JB. And then we did, in fact tell it we want to copy all the programs from one disk to the other. And it is set out to do that. At the moment, it is... Oh, I'm just filming, Mr. Andrew. I'll be done in a couple minutes.
It seems like we're in a call.
It seems like what?
We're in a call.
Oh, okay. I'll come down. I just have a few more minutes here. So it's now copying a program called Display TNS, which stands for Track and Sector. After that, it will actually copy the performance test, then sequential file, then random file, which of course has always been misspelled, that I remember, because it's, instead of random file, it's random fial. These things happen late at night. And then term program, which I suspect is a simple little terminal program. I suspect. It is now copying the performance test. And so far, everything is sounding fine. I'm not smelling anything that is like hot and burning. Neither of the drives is seeming to be upset. No flashing lights, no error messages, no banging of heads. They do seem to be quite dandy, despite their difficult journey. They do. And yes, one of them has a deeper, recessed area here, and a bigger, thicker flip. Door flip. Flippy door. Alright, we are now almost done. Before I forget, of course, many years ago, the World of Commodore was a massive, massive show in Toronto. It was also put on, I think they had one near somewhere, I think it was Philadelphia. I'm not sure if there were any others, but anyway, those days are gone, and now, of course, it is a show that is put on by the Toronto Pet Users Group, TPUG. And the next edition of that show is on December the 4th of 2021. It is a Saturday. There is a gathering happening. People, I believe, must be vaccinated and masked to go to the actual gathering, but there will be, everything will be available online, so you don't really have to go. There is magic in going, but it still may not be the bestest thing, depending on your circumstances. Certainly if you don't live anywhere near Toronto, probably best to just go online onto Zoom and check it out. If you're going to be around Toronto, you know, I am close to, well, not close. I'm kind of northeast of Toronto, and this is being held kind of northwest in Mississauga. So it's still a bit of a drive, but it's always nice to see people. But I just wonder how many people will be there. I'm thinking next year it will be still, as they would call it, a hybrid event. Oh, we're on to the last program. But still with an online presence. As I think I think in the past it's just been there and then afterwards they post videos. Now it'll be live. And I've heard that Bill Hurd will be speaking. Oh, another input disk ready. No. Ha ha ha. It is finished. So now, you know what I might do? Not that I do this. Oh, no. Alright, I'm going to load the directory on device 8. And there it is, 1541 test demo disk. I'm going to load the directory on device 9. Now notice it's 556 bytes free. And when I copy, what does it say? 556 bytes free. So it does seem that everything has copied. I'm going to load in, although I don't do this, I'm going to load in the C64 wedge and run it. Aha, DOS Manager. Okay, now this is the only part that I think I like about this. I put in a greater than and a dollar sign, and it will find. I don't know the rest of the commands for this, but that is handy because then you can write a program and not lose. I wonder if that does anything good. Nope. That did not. I'm just trying to see if I can do it on device 9. No, that produces an error. Maybe it's this. 9. Probably not. Nope. Oh well. Let us be happy with the directory. So I suppose what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to leave this to run, I'm going to load, check disk. This takes a long time, and I'm not going to sit here to do it. No way, no how. So I'm taking the disk out. I'm going to type in, oh no, before I do that, I'm going to run the wedge thing and look at the directory, because I can. So there's our Jim Butterfield disk. So now the program is here. Check disk program. Okay, the head is banging because I have the door closed. I guess it only works on device 8. Error. I guess I should close the door. So I guess this is set up for device 8, so I guess if you're going to run this, you really need to have your drive set up as device 8. Or go into the program and tell it, look for anything that has anything to do with devices and change it to 9. Maybe it's a variable in the front, maybe not. Anyway, this is now doing an awful lot of thinking. And it is, okay, there we go. And it is going to now take a damn long time, maybe an hour or more. But this too is something I just like to run disk drives through, if nothing else, to make them spin. Because this makes them spin. And it gives them a workout, as you can hear, as it goes from various tracks to various sectors. And around and around and around it goes. So perhaps we will explore more of the test demo disk. We've done copy all. I've loaded the DOS wedge that I'm trying to think. I don't know if I've ever loaded it over the past 40 years, because I just stay away from those things. But oh well, it should not harm this. It should just carry on. I suppose what I can do now is I can turn this drive off. It will still come up as device 9 because I flipped the switch. And I suppose I can turn off the monitor, because it really doesn't need to be on while this cranks away. But what will I do now? Well, word has it that my mother has called, so I should check in with that. Check in with her, see what's what, and what else. Something else I was thinking of doing. Oh, the Toronto Maple Leafs are playing tonight, so it is time to rejoice. The Leafs are doing well this year, and hopefully this will carry through the whole season and into the playoffs, because it's been a long time since they've won a first-round series in the playoffs. Too long. And for those that remember last year, it was very painful because they were up 3-1 against the Montreal Canadiens, and they managed to lose the series. Anyway, so perhaps we'll see you at the World of Commodore. Perhaps we'll see you online. Sorry, I said Bill Hurd was going to be there. I think also Michael Tomczak. He was worked at Commodore, and David Haney, I believe. I think he was involved in the Amiga at Commodore. And who knows who else might be speaking. I pondered speaking. I did. But I'm not sure. I don't know. It's been busy. So, you know what? Maybe next year. Maybe. The last time they actually had the show in person, I sat at a table and helped people with their broken machines. And it went quite well. It was a very wonderful day. And it was nice to be able to look across and see Steve Gray, who keeps churning out miraculous things to go with these old machines. He is, without a doubt, a genius. Alright, enough for now. Onward to hockey, and I will call my mother. By the way, my mother was, in fact, one of the people involved in the running of TPUG for many years, before the various political messes, etc., etc., etc. Yes, there was intrigue and drama at the Toronto Pet Users Group. Many times, many different personalities. What a shame, what a pity. Alright, this is going to work, and I'm on my way. So, thanks so much for coming.